Oh, my phone just went bye-bye against the wall. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll just leave it against the wall. Maybe it's a better place against the wall. That's where it's stable. It can't fall over. All these recording things that we have to do. So today what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need a stronger thing. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show folks who have bad backs. Okay, so now I've had, since I was 18 years old, I've had probably around 31 events. 3 of them pretty bad, not really bad. Okay, so when I was 45, pretty bad one. Lost use of my right leg. Intensive physical therapy for 8 months before I could get the use of my right leg back. And it took a total of 10 years for my leg to feel like normal. I was 45. And so, then I had another really bad event about 7 years ago. And I had to have surgery on that one. Because I let myself get overweight. And, you know, that sedentary life, that just, you get married, you go through the holidays, you get kids, you get grand, you know, all the foods and everything. Yeah, that life got me. And so, so when I was 18 years old, I had to change the tire. I was ordered to change a tire. It was called a Gamma Goat, and it was a transport vehicle. And the sergeant goes, "Turn, I want you to change that tire on that Gamma Goat." I said, "Okay, Sarge." And he was just staring at me like I was going to do it by myself. I said, "Sarge, I'm thinking I'm going to need to have some help with this." He goes, "No, Turner, you're going to need to know how to do that in time of war." We're not at war, but even then I don't think I would have done it, right? Because it was like a 200-pound tire, and you got to get down underneath, you got to lift it up. So I was like trying to plead with this sergeant, "No, I shouldn't do that." So finally he threatened me with an Article 15. He's going to write me up. So I'll be doggone. Sure, I did it. And sure enough, crack, crack, crack in my lower back. It started in my middle of my back and just kind of worked its way down. And so next day I couldn't get out of bed. And so he thought I was lying. So because I was still living in the barracks. And he thought I was lying. So he called a doctor to my bedside. "I'm going to call a doctor to your bedside." "Yes, Sarge, I think so." Sure enough, I had a doctor at my bedside. And doctor examined, asked some questions. Then he pointed his finger at the sergeant, like the sergeant was a little boy. He's like disciplining him, right? You have someone sitting next to this man for the next 2 weeks, 24/7, and seeking after his every need. And the sergeant goes, "Yes, doctor." So I was there for almost 2 weeks in that bunk. That bed. They would just kind of help me to get to the bathroom back and forth. They brought me all my food and everything, my drinks. Yeah, for almost 2 weeks. I finally was able to get out of bed. So I've had those attacks, like 31 of those, ever since. I had 2 more of those before I even got out of the Army. So between 18 and 19, I had 3 of those attacks from that sergeant's direct order on that, placing that tire. I did get the tire on, though, by myself. But I sure paid a price for the rest of my life. And so I had another attack here about a month ago. And that was my ignorance. I was sitting on you sit down, those machines where you sit down and you're sitting on a chair and you got the bars in front of you and you got some weights back there and you raise your legs up. Well, I was doing that. It's a machine. It's got the cables and all that. And I had it on max, and it was more than my weight. So what was happening was I was going up, I was lifting me up, I was banging my butt down, coming back down. Yeah, bump, 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 like that. And I think I must have did like about 60 of those. Hit my butt. Well, it bruised the disc, the lower disc, and the disc swelled. And I thought it was actually pain in my butt because it felt like it was in my butt, in the middle of my butt. That's where the pain was. It wasn't in my back. I didn't feel anything in my back. I didn't know disc could be sneaky like that. And so it had actually protruded out to one side and was actually bruising the nerve that was muscle that was in my glute. That's what I was feeling. The pain I was feeling was the nerve damage that was occurring. Right? And so before I knew, I was in an emergency room and all that. So I came up with a method that has helped me rehabilitate my back, going back to when I was 18 before the accident. Okay, so when I was 18, after that kind of serious pain, I kind of walked around gentle, like. From then on, it's like I kind of had a lean over, kind of like, because straightening up was so painful. I kind of had kept my body forward, right, just out of habit because the pain was so bad. So what I've learned to do with this, when rehabilitating this back injury, is a couple weeks ago I couldn't even lay on my belly. Right? I couldn't even lay down. Right? This was no way. This was no way. To lay on my belly, there was no way. Just 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks now. And so what I did was, I spent the first few days just trying to get the ability to lay on my belly without passing out from the pain, right? So I kept laying on my belly, and then I'd kind of roll over off my belly, roll back on my belly, right? Until eventually I was able to put my hands out. So eventually I ended up doing this, right? Leaning back, feeling that pull in the lower part of my back, kind of realigning all the tendons and the muscles and the skeletal structure. Just kind of let it pop it out, and then lean forward all the way, and just kind of let. Well, I wouldn't drop, but you get the idea. And I kind of let that stretch out like that, and then lean my head up. Just lean my head up, right? Trust when I tell you that was painful. Just to put my head in, just to have my head up here, just here, and then eventually raising my head up a little bit more over time. And I would do that like about 6-8 times a day. So once when I got up, then throughout the day, and then right before I went to bed. So I couldn't keep my head even on the floor without a lot of pain. So eventually I just kept doing, and I'd go back and, stretch, realign. I'd feel some popping, snapping, crackling, and popping. And I'd stretch back out. So much pain, I can't even tell you. I'm glad I was on some pain medications. I was on a lot. And so eventually I was able to get myself in a position where I could, have myself up, my head up, a little bit. I kept doing that. Then I put my hands underneath myself a little bit, and up, hands underneath more. So eventually I was able to have my elbows directly underneath me, straight up. And then I would practice looking up, ow, 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 right? And then eventually I was able to put my hands underneath my chins. I haven't been able to do that since before my injury at 18 years old. I put my hands underneath my chin and just kind of sit there. I haven't been able to do that for, every time I tried it was so painful, I didn't do it. Should have, hindsight, right? So now I can sit, long time now. I can just sit there here with my palms, my chin resting on my palms. I haven't been able to do that without so much pain that I would stop right away for a long time. So then what I did is I worked my way to where just a little time now, this is important. This is a very gradual thing. This is not something you do like a centimeter thing at a time, right? Everything needs to be gradual. And I wouldn't recommend you get this, get approved by your neurologist, your back surgeon, whoever. No, they're going to want to do surgery. She was going to do 2 separate surgeries, and I was going to be in this have this structure attached to me for the next 5 years. I'm going like, I can't be tied up for 5 years. That's a half a decade, man. So I started looking for another way, and this is what I'm showing you is what I found instead of surgery. So then I just kind of would lean up like that, lean back. Oh, this was, you have no idea how painful to do. What you're seeing right now, how simple this looks. Wasn't simple. It was just tears coming out of my eyeballs. But I kept doing that, right? And then eventually I'm working my head back. Then stretch, then a pop, snap, wherever's got to pop and realign. So I kept, what I'm doing here is I'm realigning my spine to what it was before the injury when I was 18. So I didn't know that. But I sure felt it happening as it was happening. I've never done these kinds of things before, right? Nobody's ever recommended it to me. But I started thinking about the skeletal system. I'm going like, you know what? I just need to go back to when we became Homo erectus. Now, what's Homo erectus? Well, we would stand straight up and look over the weeds to look for lions and tigers and bears. Something wanted to eat us, right? We would straight up way, and we would walk around like that. Well, we still do. That's our natural state now because of those doggone pre-humans. Now, this is our to go over is actually unhealthy. So it's either over or straight up. It's no in between thing because there's problems that can happen. It's either totally erectus, Homo erectus, or chimpanzee. It's either or. Homo erectus or whatever. And so what I do is then I pump. I do what's called it's a hip flex that I know it looks sensual and everything, but man, I tell you what, it sure helped to do it though. It wasn't this at first, yeah, slow, like really slow, that the hips kind of touch the floor and then straighten up. And then what I started doing was this kind of motion. You know, a lot of pain at first, and then I realized the more I did that, the stronger I got faster. So then I started like pumping it, right? Pumping it out, like quick, like that. And that seemed like a natural state. Now this is adults. But you can see how that can be effective. So by doing that quickly, I stretched those tendons really like back and forth, and it kind of like stretching out a rubber band, right? Rubber band, man. And so what I've done is I have reformed my spine back to Homo erectus, right? Way upright, so that my spine is now way curved, right? Whereas when I was 18 after the accident, it was so painful to set up straight from then on. I always kind of had a slight hunch over, right? Just from the memory of being straight up, how painful it was, right? And so every time I would have one of those events, I became more and more locked into that more leaning forward kind of, instead of up and erect, I was more and more leaning my shoulders forward and my back kind of arched as the years went by. So now it's more about, now I'm like this, and that feels normal now, right? Because that's how our spines evolved, is to be in this type of position, to look over the brushes. Is that a lion coming at me? Right? Lions and tigers and bears coming my way, oh my. And so I just wanted to share this rehabilitation. Now, you need to take it really, 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 really slow, right? Like, I can't even stress how slow. If you got some sort of blown disc or something like that, and your doctor's recommended surgery, You want to get your spine lined back up. Chiropractor ain't gonna help, right? Who can see a chiropractor 8 times a day? No, this is something that you really need to do this 8 times a day, if not more, right? Fight through the pain, fight through the pain. And just keep going, keep going. And twist and turn and realign, right? Oh, you just keep going. Fight through the pain. And so that was on gabapentin. It actually is, it relieves pain from the brain. So it tells the brain to kind of numb up, right? Numb up to shut up. But it was still, the pain's still there for you for everything. It's just, you can deal with the pain a little bit better. It's more tolerable, right? So, but not much, but just enough, right? That makes a difference. Gabapentin. And I was taking 3 ibuprofen every 8 hours, along with 600 milligrams of gabapentin. I don't know, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. So what I had was, I had a wheelchair. Started out in a wheelchair, right? Oh yeah, it was bad. And then I graduated from a wheelchair a number of weeks back to this. This is called a walker. Skinwalkers. So I got around my house. Right. So I actually adopted this differently. now I use this. Now I use this thing for a totally different reason. So what I do is I take this chair, kind of put it in here, and this is how you want to do these. You want to start out kind of slow. You don't want to do anything quick. Everything like I just showed you the try to get yourself out of a blown disc without having surgery. She was going to do 2 surgeries on me. 2. I went to see her and she examined. Okay, we're going to do this. They sized me up for this big thing that I was going to have to wear for the next half a decade. They sized me up for that and put my name on it. And I'm done with those folks. Heck no. So what I do is this exercise here. Actually, so I would do this to help stretch my back when I was still using this walker. What I would do is I'd be using this walker because I had to, and I would actually go up and let my back stretch so I wouldn't touch the feet on the floor, and I'd try to let gravity separate the spines, the vertebrae, right? Just kind of let nature, let gravity kind of take the pressure off that blown disc. And I have a bar that's over a walkway, and I would jump up and hold that bar for the same reason that I just showed you this. The first time I did it, I was hanging there. Didn't take long. I'll be doggone if I didn't pass out. Just the pain was such that when I grabbed that bar and I was just hanging there kind of like this, but with my arms up, floating in the air there, I passed out. I hit the floor, and I had some big pads there, knowing that was possible. But my head hit the bathroom door. That's what woke me up, actually. My head hitting the bathroom door. So this is a cool exercise to do. Also, I'm going to show you. But you'd want to start like something like this to get all your tendons, because the muscles can actually get strong quickly compared to your tendons. So say, for example, you get some certain strength and it takes you a couple weeks in your muscles. Okay, your muscles are up there. But if we overtax those muscles, the tendons that are supporting them, all that, then you can get tendinitis or other pulled tendons, and it can take years to heal. I know. And so, even though we can do 200-something pounds or something, our muscles are strong enough to do that. If we haven't done it for a while, it doesn't mean our tendons. The tendons can take up to 3 months to catch up with your actual muscle strength, right? So this thing here, what I did, I used to really love this when I was young, like 14, 13, 11, something. So this exercise here. So you'd want something so that you start out slow. So say for example, I want to do these, so I'm doing these, right? I used to love these. And if you're going to start out, because you can tear your tendons in your elbows doing this if you haven't done it for a while. So what I recommend you doing when it comes to stuff like that, start out slow, right? You use your toes, stem, take the pressure off at first. Let your muscles and your tendons, most of your muscles will catch up. You want to focus on the tendons more, right? Those are the things that cause the most of the injuries, is the tendons, right? Muscles get there quick, and we go, oh, we're going to add some more weight. Well, oh, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to have to go in there and do surgery, reattach your tendon. Yeah, right? Be gentle to your tendons, so, right? So, I've actually done lots of those because of this injury, right? This walker was my friend for a few weeks. We got around quite well, kind of well. And so I would do this a lot, just hang around. You know, I'd be in the kitchen trying to fix something to eat, and I would try to take that pressure off, that pinched nerve that disc was causing. Painful. And so now I just use it. Now I use this as it's part of my gym now. It's part of my workouts, machines, right? And so another really good exercise to do. People really, just because it looks simple, I don't want to do that. This is so important. Like a stair stepper thing, to be able to step up, right? That is so important for balance, for strength, for endurance. Yeah, do those kinds of things. I mean, you probably heard stuff about, you need to get really good at stair stepping, walking up stairs, and yeah. So this will help you with that, right? Because it's the same motion, right? So yeah, this is my stair stepper, right? And so back to the back stretching, and to do these, keep the tendons kind of stretched along your back, because when you're doing this, you're also realigning all the muscles and the tendons on either side of your back of your vertebrae. So these are also really good to do, right? Just kind of like a daily morning thing. I try not to work out too hard before I go to bed, because I'm in there breathing hard, I'm sweating, I'm going, I need to not do this right before I go to bed. But I would do this back thing every night. Last night, I think it was the first night I chose not to do it. I didn't feel like it. But and then what I also like, I've always liked this particular exercise where you take your hands and you put them together, your fingers together like that, and you just kind of go like this and you press down. This is really good for your chest, your lats, right? This is really, I've always liked this particular kind of push-up, just because of the way that it isolates the shoulders, the chest muscles. Just really good exercise. So I was doing those before I went to bed too. Well, eventually I worked up to that. And yeah, got all my strength back. And I don't need surgery now. I don't care what that girl says. You still need the 2 surgeries. I'm going to say, what? I say, what? I mean, what? Right? No. There'll be no surgery on this boy. I've got this, right? Like that, I think I've got it to the point to where I doubt, I got this sense, like never before, since I was 18, that I'll never have a blown disc again. Because now I understand that I need to do certain things to keep my back so that it stays like this mostly all the time, right? Like, I have a nice, good arch here, because it's when this starts to bow, right? Bow, instead of having that nice arch right here and then having that, right? That's when the disc can blow and then go into the nerve instead of maybe blowing it outwards or something. Anyway, no surgery required. This boy's got it. It's like, why don't they teach that stuff instead of jumping right to surgery? It's like, it must be about the money, right? It's about the money, greed. I mean, if that's neurosurgeon, because she's the one that did my last one. The last one, well, I've only had one surgery. It was just kind of, she like slipped the clamp in there. Just kind of keep the tube vertebrae from rubbing. And if she would have done what's called a fusion, I wouldn't be able to do this, right? I wouldn't be able to, because a fusion creates locks your number of vertebrae into place so it stays, there's no give. See, I have full function. She just kind of slapped a little clamp in there so that, I can feel the clamp especially when I go way back. I can feel that clamp, a little bit of resistance, but the clamp wants to actually give per my request. So it's not like one of those fusion things they put in there. A little different. Anyway, that's my day. What is today? August 15th or something? 16th, 17th? I don't know, I ain't got my watch. Anyway, I thought I'd share this thing. So all you folks who have back problems, be kind to your back, man. I've got family members that when they get up, it's like this, that I'm sitting there next to them for maybe only 10 minutes, right? I'm sitting there next to them only 10 minutes, and we're sitting there chit-chatting, and my family member goes to get up, and they're like, going. I'm thinking, and I pop right up, and I'm the one that has the back problem, right? But I'm the one popping up, and they're the ones going, right? That's caused by sedentary lifestyle, sitting too long in a seated position, right? Doing nothing, just doing nothing, sitting. So, what I've come to realize is that if we're going to sit more than 30, 45 minutes, we should have like a watch on that buzzes or something. It tells us to get up and go get a drink of water or go do some squats or do something, right? Don't just sit there, because all those muscles and joints and bones just kind of start to form and want to stay in that position. So when you go to get up, instead of just being flexed right, jumping right up, we're kind of like hunched and going, it's like our bones got to readjust to slowly kind of be able to stand up. What a vicious cycle, right? Isn't that a vicious cycle? Oh my gosh. So, don't sit too long, man. You're watching a movie, I got a watch. I don't know where I put it. I think I got it charging. That I have it programmed so what it does, every 45 minutes, so it monitors my movements. And if I have been sedentary for 45 minutes, it lets me know, get your butt up, boy. What you doing still sitting there? It's vibrating and beeping and stuff. And that's good, right? It reminds me, because sometimes we get into doing something, computers or whatever, and next thing you know, we can be there for hours, and then we go to get up, and we do that day after day. Then you're like some of my family members who just, they're only there for 10 minutes, and they go to get up and go, right? No, you should never struggle to get up. If I'm sitting there watching a movie for 2 hours or 3 hours, it used to be before I fixed my back, I'd get up and go, oh, right? But what I do is, I pop right up now, right? It's like, I don't know what I did when I was 15. I just, let's go. Let's get her done. Let's make it happen, right? What's that over there? Right? So, what am I wearing? I forgot what I was wearing. I knew I was wearing something. And so, it's all about, don't get into sedentary life. My lifestyle is, when I get up in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I jump on the scale, make sure I'm within my plus or minus 2 pounds of the 145, and I brush my teeth, and I do my workouts in here. I vary my workouts. I don't like to get in like a routine, right, of a same exercise over and over. No. And then I like to do is I like to vary the amounts. Like, well, maybe I'll do 5 of a certain one, right? Because I'm doing so many different ones that day. And some of them actually hit the same kind of muscle groups. Then I'm only going to do 5 of this one, 5 of that one, 5 of that. And I've done like 40 different kind of exercises. You see? And then the other days I'm going to say, you know what? I think what I'm going to do today, I think I'm going to punch out 30 of these. So I'll come over here and I'll just punch out 30. What do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I like to stretch a little bit. 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Pump it, pump it, pump it. Make it stress a little more. 27, 28, 29, 30. So you get the kind of idea. So, but I may not do that for another week, that particular exercise. 30, right? So I like to just, I look for overall endurance, overall strength, right? Try to tackle everything. And what that does is it keeps my tendons and my muscles more limber and actually stronger for the urgency of strength. So say if I needed to do something really heavy, but I don't usually do that kind of heavy thing, but if I needed it, the odds of me getting an injury, pulling a muscle, pulling a tendon, are actually less than somebody who maybe does the same repetitious exercise, because I have muscles that are strong enough to support the other ones that maybe aren't as strong. And then they all come into play to do that one thing that I need to do, like pull a trailer or lift something heavy, or right. They all can play a part to help support each other to do that one strenuous thing. And so, yeah, that's how I see the human anatomy when it comes to skeletal structure, the muscles, the tendons. Help them all be ready, equally strength as possible, right? Because that also gives you what's called endurance as well, right? Big muscles, that's not endurance. Dense, tight muscles where you do lots of stuff, like a lot of it, just do the same things, like certain things, dig in stuff. That's endurance strength, right? And that's the kind of stuff I want, right? I can just go do something all the same. If it is the same thing, I can do it all day long. If, say, for example, I'm hauling something, say dirt or bark or whatever, and I'm going to make like 10 trips and fill my truck up because I want to reload my yard, and you know what I mean? And I'm doing one shovel at a time. I know right now I can go do that all day long right now. That's endurance, right? I keep myself ready for those type of all day long type of endurance type of activities, whatever they may be, whatever variable they might be. So there you go. See, you get the concept. What I deliver. This is still a new podcast I have here, and I really didn't start thinking I was going to do something with it until April this year, 2025. So what I like to do is deliver here is concepts, ideas, perceptions, ideas of thoughts, some common sense now and then, throw it in, some reasoning, what makes most empirical sense, what makes least, and why, that kind of stuff, kind of a wisdom kind of stuff. And that's it. So please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment. I usually return my comments, except for when I'm on my back because I can't get out of bed. I'm not going to talk to nobody this week probably, right? But I'm back, right? Ready to rock and roll, shining like the rising sun. So, okay, and you have a good life, good day, stay healthy, and because that's all we got. If we ain't got our health, we'll just wait till that moment takes us, right? Health is number one. Number one. Bye now. Yep.